My name is Ritu Mathur. I'm a professor at University of Texas at San Antonio. I basically grew up in India, did my PhD in Canada at York University in Canada, and then I did my postdoc at McMaster University, and then I moved to the US as a tenure track faculty, and since then I've been working on my research here. My area of expertise is basically international relations, security studies, post-colonial and critical security studies, arms control and disarmament at the intersection of humanitarian politics. It was an accident. I was not really thinking of going to graduate school, and then because I had this love of reading, and my professors and family encouraged me to go and check out what the field of academics would be like. And so when I went in there and I got interested in what I was doing, I found research really, really inspiring. And as I started researching on subjects like nuclear weapons, etc., and India also had gone nuclear in 1998, so that actually provided an additional incentive to start looking within the field of arms control and disarmament even more. I feel that if you're a good researcher, it will also help you to do good teaching. And also the level of teaching which you do also matters, because sometimes undergraduate level teaching is different from a graduate level class or seminar class. I feel when you do good research and you actually read a lot more kind of stuff, then bringing that innovation, bringing those insights in a sense into your classroom is really, really beneficial for the students also. And therefore also in terms of the kind of readings that you provide to students, and then the guest speakers who you invite, etc., it makes a huge difference. So I think being research driven, because that is creativity, that is innovation, and that is also like inspiration, that is what really makes teaching interesting. Weapons are the most what would I say, the most visible aspect in terms of understanding violence. There are many different practices of violence within a particular society, but the moment you see a particular gun, for example, right, that is a weapon, and the purpose of that weapon is to basically commit an act of violence. So the most instinct or most important effort in a sense is to understand, okay, how are these instruments of violence circulating within society? How are there are actually markets being created and providing a certain degree of legitimacy to the transactions of these particular weapons. So if you're interested in those particular kind of questions, and how those weapons actually have an impact on the human body, and also sometimes in the sense of the mental trauma of the people you're working with, with this kind of violence. So I think that those kind of questions, for example, when I was reading about nuclear survivors in Hiroshima as a graduate student, it was extremely disturbing. But when I looked at the whole problem of nuclear weapons from the idea of deterrence, it was an abstract exercise. So seeing the impact of those weapons on the human bodies, understanding the suffering from that aspect, the relationship between violence and suffering, and that really speaks volumes to you as a person. Yeah, my current research, I'm basically looking at the intersection of the nuclear and the cyber weapons technology. And so I'm basically looking at, my project is called Security Archives and the Problem of Cyber Arms Control. So I look at how the sedimented discourses around the vocabulary which we have built around nuclear weapons, for example, deterrence, deployment, proliferation, how all of that particular language is again being redeployed in cyberspace. And also understanding the relationship between the public and the private actors in this kind of a militarized space. So I think understanding the dual uses of technology, we speak a lot about that, right? But the thing is that how those dual uses of technology can actually have a very, very significant impact in terms of the control politics being exercised within societies. So how we respond to that kind of control politics is something which I'm investigating at present.